Hey there guys, Grandstein here, and as we approach the beginning of a new year, 2026 in this instance, I am going to run through my goals. What did I achieve this year? What am I going to set for my goals next year? And also just talk you through my goal setting process. And over the years, I've been using this process now for, I was just looking back actually, it started in round about 2015, so over 10 years now I've been using this goal setting process. And I've come to believe that it is one of the most powerful things that you can do to find success in your life and business. So often people set goals, and there's some crazy statistic, isn't there, about, I think it's the second week in February, something like that, where 85% have given up on their New Year's resolutions. For me, the goals that I set each year, they're not New Year's resolutions, they're just targets to try and hit, that are targets that are going to make a difference. And so as I run through my goal setting process, I want you to just give it some thought on how you can actually adopt this, because I think there's a few key triggers within the goal setting process that really do make a difference to achieving and attaining goals, but also having a bit of fun on the way, gamifying the whole process. And I've come to absolutely love my goal setting process. It is one of the most important things that I do on a daily basis in my life for having a sort of fulfilled life, but then also making sure that I'm keeping track on measuring what's going on. So for those of you that don't know my goal setting process, I measure 7 goals, and in the link below, wherever you're watching this, there'll be a link to a poster. I call it a goals poster that you can download. And I call it a poster because the idea is that you fill out the poster and you have it somewhere you can see it. We're going to measure the goals every day if you follow this process, so every single day you write the goals down. However, having them somewhere visual that you can see every day, and I actually make an A4 size poster that I keep by my desk, but then also I do little A6 ones, so I've got one at the side of my bed and one at my desk at work, and I've got the bigger one is at my desk at home. And that way, and actually the other one I've put is inside my book, where I write down my goals every day. Now, let me just first of all start by giving you an overview of the goal setting process that I use, and it's like 7 goals. And then I want to help you understand some of the key mistakes that people make when they're setting goals, and specifically how you can avoid that using this process. So first of all, 7 goals. So a lot of people talk about the number of goals that you set can be a positive or a negative, but the 7 goals that I set are 7 different goals within your life. So they're not 7 goals for business or 7 goals for happiness or whatever it might be. It's to give you this sort of more rounded, balanced approach to goal setting. So these are in a particular order, I must admit. This is the order I choose to put them in. Is health, learning, wealth, relationships, business, giving, and fun. And I make these goals, I set them every year at the beginning of the new year or just before, like I am now. And I give some time to think on them as well, because these goals, they must be important to you. There must be something that you feel passionate about achieving, but then also they need to be goals that can be measured and they can be achieved within the year's time frame. So these aren't your big audacious goals necessarily. I always have a separate sort of big, North Star audacious goal. These goals are goals that you can achieve in a year, because we want to be able to measure them on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annually. And we want to be able to break them down so that you can make little steps forward each day on the journey of hitting these goals. And the 7 goals, again, health, learning, wealth, relationships, business, giving, and fun. So I've got it on my laptop here, so I can run through what I've done this year and what I'm doing next year. These are going to give you a holistic approach to goal setting, so that you can be fulfilled in not just 1 or 2 areas. And I think that's the game changer for me, is having that holistic approach. Now, the other thing I always say with this goal setting is, if the goal is too easily achieved, then it can be a little bit, demoralizing. But I wouldn't necessarily say, or demoralising is the wrong word. Demoralising if you set the goal too high. It can be, if it's too easy to achieve, then you don't get as much satisfaction out of achieving it. Getting the balance right, I think, is the key thing, and the thing that I've sort of experimented with over the years is just setting that goal, you know, just so that you know you've got to try hard to get there. And in a lot of instances, you know, I don't always hit the goal, which shows to me that, you know, it was a goal that was worthy going for, but it wasn't so far out of reach that it just felt like a waste of time. It definitely felt achievable when I started at the beginning of the year. So with that being said, the key thing is, and the thing that I see most people get wrong, is when they set a goal, it's not measurable. So for example, if we go with health, somebody says, I want to be fitter, or I want to lose weight. You can't measure that. If you want to be fitter, then you've got to be able to measure how much fitter you want to be. So is that, you know, do you want to run the 5K in below a specific time, or do you want to run a half marathon or a marathon, or if it's in the gym, you know, do you want to have I measure body fat and muscle mass through the machine that measures that I stand on. So the goal needs to be measurable, something that you can track, because if it is too generic, then how you going to know if you achieve it? It's just a point of view. The measurability, and that's the one thing I see most people get wrong when it comes to setting goals, is the goals aren't measurable. So with that being said, let me run through the process step by step, just so you can understand how I've kind of evolved this over the years. So first of all, you find the goal and you think a 12-month goal, you set the goal, can you measure it? Does it feel achievable but tough? And then can you break it down into months and then apply actual things that you need to do in order to achieve it? Because that's the whole point of this time of year, is that you noodle on your goals, you get them nailed down, you set them, and then you work backwards and say, how am I going to achieve that? What is the process that I've got to go through for the 12 months? And the important thing that I've always put on the goals post as well is you need, for each goal, a why and then a how. Now the why is important because if you haven't got a strong motivating why behind the goal, you're much less likely to achieve it. So that's why you've got to spend a bit of time, and I love doing it this time of year, spending a bit of time noodling on what it is that you want and why you want to get there, so that you know that you're not going to give up in February, March, April, because you've got that emotional driver behind it. And that's why goal setting isn't always that straightforward. It's not always that easy to know what it is that you want from life. But spending a bit of time at Christmas, I always find it's a great time to figure that stuff out, because we need to have emotional drivers behind things that we do in order to supercharge them, to give them that turbo boost so that we can get to where we want to be. And then you can see the evolution over the years. And then I look back over the last 11 years of doing this, I've still got all of my posters, I do a vision board that matches these posters as well. And I can see the progression that I've made over the years. And that's really cool, looking back and seeing the progression that's been made. So let's get things kicked off by just quickly reviewing what I did last year and how far I came. And I've got to be honest, so as in this year, 2025, coming up to, I'm recording this on the 27th of December, so a few days to go before the new year. But 2025 wasn't my best year for hitting my goals, although I did hit a few. So let me run through. So my first goal was that I wanted to set for my health 15% body fat and 74 kilograms of muscle. Now, I didn't achieve that. However, I got pretty close, I got to admit. In fact, I got down to the best body fat I've had since I've been measuring. I'm sure I had much lower body fat when I was younger, back when I could eat what I like and do what I liked when it came to the food. But I achieved 17.5% body fat. Bearing in mind I started around about 22. And then 74 kilograms of muscle, I hit 71. What I found out this year as a man in my 50s, losing body fat and gaining muscle is really, really tough, because I can honestly say I haven't missed one workout this year. Any time that I did miss due to travel or whatever, I made up for it. and that's me training 5 days a week, and I haven't missed one all year. So what I can now understand is that you can work out as hard as you like, and I do work out hard, and it's not going to get the results that you need. So that's now given me information for what I'm going to do next year. So I've kept that goal for this year, so 15% body fat and 74 kilograms of muscle. And what I know I'm going to have to do is be really strict with my food. And I do a keto diet. You have to measure your calories, and you have to also measure your workouts. What I found was when I did make gains in muscle, it was because I was working out in a different way, and I do weights. And when I do weights with 30-second gaps in between each exercise, and I do more exercises, so at least 20 reps plus per body part, that's what seems to get results for me. I'm going to the gym straight after this, by the way. I'm here in Fuerteventura for my annual Christmas break, and the gym's just down the road, and I don't stop in when I'm on holiday. I'm going to hit that this year, so I'm going for 15%, so I've got to lose another 2.5%, which is harder than it sounds, and 74 kilograms I've got to put on 3 kilograms of muscle. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but I know I'm going to have to be super disciplined to hit that. But this time next year, I'm going to be sat on this balcony, and I will be hitting that goal. I know. So that is a 0 for my health. However, still big improvement on where I started, so I'm not too worried about that. But it was harder than I thought. Number 2 was learning, and this year I actually got through the first target pretty quickly, and it was to learn a big course that I bought. It's a really long-winded course called Imperium Acquisition. I got through it about halfway through the year. I was a little bit disappointed with it, if I'm honest, but having said that, it taught me a lot. So I did complete the learning, and then I kept adding stuff to my learning. So by the end of the year, I've actually done 4 different bits of learning this year. So it's been a great year for education. So I hit my learning goal, and the goal was to implement it as well, which I did. And one of the things I love about learning and doing courses is it helps me when I'm doing coursing, when I'm doing coaching as well. And there were a lot of takeaways from the stuff that I learned this year. And so I did the Imperium Acquisition course, I did the Grant Cardone 10X Mentor, and then Brian Tracy's goal setting, incidentally, which, you know, pretty much what I'm going through now is a lot of that within what he does. But it is different, and I just want to make sure that I was educated, because I think goal setting is a huge part of keeping your head on straight and moving forwards towards success. So with learning, hit that goal, and very pleased with that. Now, next one was wealth. Now, wealth, I wanted to double my income. Now, this is an interesting one because I've been running Blam now, which is where the majority of my current income comes from, for 11 years, and I've never took a huge salary. And so this year when I set my goal, I thought, well, I want to finally, you know, take more money from the business. I've got to be honest, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. But if anything, I probably took less. And this is more about me and the way I run my business rather than anything else. I think, and it's an interesting psychological thing, I kind of always put myself bottom of the list when it comes to getting paid. Part of the reason that I said to double my salary is because I was aware that is something that you know, isn't necessarily the right thing to do. So how do I sort of justify it? Well, we had a great year at Blam from a development perspective, foundational perspective, but I didn't feel that I'd done enough to justify me being paid more. And so the money went back into the business. We recruited more people. We invested heavily in new development, new products. And I think that when Blam hits all the heights that I expect it to hit, I know I'm going to get rewarded. You know, I'm the 100% shareholder of that business, and as it achieves, you know, the potential that it's due, I will get rewarded financially. And so right now, despite it being in my goals, despite me sort of committing to it, I didn't feel like I'd done enough in the business to justify it, which comes down to the next one, which would be business. Now, business, the goal was to 2x revenue and 3x profitability, and we didn't hit that one either, hence I didn't pay myself. Now, we did increase turnover by roughly 20%, profitability stayed about the same, and so it for me, we didn't get anywhere near the target. I ended up reinvesting a lot of time into BLAM, foundational products, services, infrastructure and staff, and a lot of that is to do with the way that the industry is evolving and the way that we are restructuring and strategizing what comes for 2026. So although it's frustrating, because at the beginning of the year I had really, big intentions to blow BLAM up, we ended up reining it in a bit, and so unforeseen circumstances came to the front, and sounds like I'm making excuses. I guess I am. We didn't hit those goals. So the two big ones, my personal wealth and business, as an entrepreneur, we didn't get anywhere near. So 2025 goes as a down in terms of goal setting. However, as I said to my team at the end of the year, we have had a fantastic year. Some of the stuff that we've done this year has been awesome. The systems and processes are working sweet as a nut. The products and services that we've got coming through, that we've been developing, the new training courses, it's actually been a really, really cool year. The team are working so cohesively together. I am actually sitting here delighted with the way things went, but from a goal setting perspective, I had to rein it in on those two. So this year, I've kind of, because I've done such a lot of foundational work on the business, the goal's kind of set for me because it's already kind of written what we're going to do for 2026, best laid plans, but I do feel like we've got a very strong strategy. So I'm just going to say I'm going to add 50% to my personal income for my wealth, and for the business, I'm not going to make it a financial one because I think financially we're going to do fine just next year. But there's some stuff that I'm really excited about next year, and so part of my business goal my business goal that I put down is to launch 5 new market-leading AI products for small businesses. And that one really excites me because I know that the marketplace is crying out for these products done right, because there's a lot of junk out there at the moment, and we've been laying really strong foundations this year to make sure that our partners and our customers have got the right products for 2026. And so that's one I'm very, very excited about. We've already got, we've already got 2 ready to launch in January, so another 3. The key thing is they need to be market leading. And I just want to talk about the why with that, because why repositioning BLAM as a leader in AI tech for small businesses with a human touch. Really looking forward to getting that message across there, because people need the human touch to help leverage the AI tools effectively. And then develop products in-house with collaborators. So part of the reason why we didn't make as much profit as I would have liked is because I invested in development team, in developers, in the infrastructure to get this done. And I'm really, really excited about it. So great goal to set. So I'm going to be, as I say, rolling that one out for 2026, and the goal is set 5 new market leading AI products, and then 50% more wages for me, for my own personal wealth. And if we make loads and loads of money, maybe I'll take a bit more. But it's more about let's get the business in that solid position of growth. Relationships. So relationships. My goal was to take 6 breaks with my wife Abby, and I am. I guess this time last year when I set that goal, which was, it sounded quite an ambitious goal. I am delighted to say that sat here on the balcony here of Fuerteventura with this beautiful scenery. This is our 7th break holiday away since this time last year, and so that goal, we smashed it. And I have to say, from a relationships perspective, it's probably my favourite goal in terms of the way it helps me in my headspace, because paying attention to your relationships can be difficult when you're a busy entrepreneur, can be difficult when you're so focused on growing a business. And so putting that ambitious target in place and writing it down every morning as I'm sat there having my coffee is really focuses the mind on how you can get it done. And getting 7 of them done, 3 of which were in where I am right now, is just, I'm chuffed to bits that I was able to do that. We also went to, where else did we go? We went to Tynemouth, had a lovely holiday up north there in the UK. We did a fantastic drive around the Cotswolds, which was a supercar driving holiday, which was just awesome. Absolutely loved that. We went to Buxton, which is one of our favourite places, to Buxton Spa, absolutely beautiful. We went to Linton and Lynmouth in Devon. So, and plus the 3 holidays here, 7 trips away. So absolutely delighted, and all of those with my wife Abby. I had lots of other trips, but those are the ones that I did with Abby. So next year, I'm keeping it exactly the same goal, because that goal just ticks the box for me. Absolutely lovely. It means I've got something to look forward to with Abby at least once every 2 months, and we'll be going for that goal again. I've put 6 there again, and I hope I smash it. I hope I do 7 or 8, but 6 I know is a great goal and really ticks the box. Okay, so finally, last but not, in fact no, we've got 2 left. We've got giving and fun left. So giving was to support the charity Homeless One, and we built a website for them, and we supported them with their website. And I've worked with Mo quite a bit, who's the founder, Mo Nawaz, of the charity. And I'm delighted to say we're still hosting the website, and we're still providing support. And so from a giving perspective, I did that one, no problem. That box is ticked, and yeah, that's another goal achieved. This year, I want to continue to support Homeless One, but also I'm going to support another charity by doing another charity event, which is to support the Race Against Dementia charity. And every year they do a car sort of rally where they'll drive around different parts of the country, or it could be Ireland, it could be Scotland. They're just announcing where it's going to be. It might be over in Ireland again this year. 3 days, raise money for charity, for a great worthy cause. Bit of fun, bit of networking, all in a good cause. So we're going to be doing that one this year, and we'll raise money for dementia, which is a charity that's very close to home, and one that I think is a very worthy cause. So looking forward to doing that in 2026. And then finally, fun. So fun this year was to go to the Le Mans Classic with my son, to drive over there, and we actually did it in a convoy this year, in both our cars, and it was a fantastic trip. Another fantastic trip around France, bit of fun on the way back, stopping in different places, and absolutely fantastic. And I also added another trip to the fun goal, which I did after the event, because the Le Mans trip was halfway through the year. So I also added going to watch the starting point with my son in Turkey for the Gumball 3000 rally, which is an absolutely fantastic event. I was lucky enough, thanks to Jay, to go to the starting event and the pre-launch party, which was just fantastic. And I took Bruno again, my son, so we just had a fabulous time. It was absolutely awesome. So talk about fun, really ticked the box this year. Did loads of other fun stuff as well this year. It's been an awesome year for fun, I've got to admit. So next year, we're going to go and do an event we've never done before, which is the Spa 24 Hour. And that is a GT race in Spa in Belgium. We're going to stop off at Bruges on the way, probably take both the cars again, and have a bit of fun on the way there, on the way back. And I will probably add another event to that later in the year, because that one I should get done and dusted by June, and so I'll add another one later in the year once that event has been done and that goal has been achieved. So overall, guys, and I just want to say thank you for listening. If you're still listening, thank you for staying and keeping me accountable. I do this every year, and I know, because I know I've got to do it, it does help me keep on track it, because it's, it's horrible coming onto this and go, well, I didn't achieve this, but you know what, you've got to do it. You've got to take responsibility. I've never hit all my goals. Last year I think was probably one of my best ones. This year's a bit, so I didn't hit health, I did the learning, didn't hit wealth, I hit the relationships, I did the giving, did the fun. I got 4 out of 7. Not too bad. I think I got 5 last year, so 4 out of 7 is about the norm. For me this year, the important one is I really want to get that business one hit this year. I'm pretty confident I can do it. I'm working backwards towards it. And then the other big one for me is the health. I really want to knuckle down and defy the odds and try and hit that 74 grams of muscle for a man in his 50s, in his mid 50s, and 15% body fat. That's going to take a bit of effort, but I feel confident I'm going to give it a go. So thanks for listening, guys. I'd love to hear your goals. I'd love to know what it is you're going to set. If you've got trouble thinking up your goals or finding out how you can measure them, then please do reach out. Let me know in the feed below. Download the goal poster, write it out, and I'll write these goals down every morning in a journal, and then I try and actually move towards each goal a step at a time each day. And sometimes it's easier than others. Obviously the health one's usually quite easy because I hit the gym in the morning, but some of them are more difficult. So learning, doing a bit of learning whilst I'm doing my workout, or how do you actually keep pushing the business goal? How do you make sure that you're booking those trips away? If it's like me, trips away is a relationship goal, or whatever your goal is, how do you measure it? Do it every single morning. Write it in your goal part, your goals book, part of your morning routine. Make it habit, and then get it done every single day. At the end of the year, take stock, reset, and then go again. And just as a final thing, I always accompany my goal sheet, my goal poster, with a vision board where I visualize it, so I've got something I can look at. I'm a visual person. Looking back over the years, it's really interesting in the way the vision boards that I've had over the years have now come through. There's nothing woo-woo about it. It's pretty scientific. What you focus on is what you're going to work towards. What you visualize is what your brain is going to be helping you get towards. So don't think this is hocus pocus. It's just the way the world is. Have a fantastic new year. If I don't see you, I'll see you in 2026. Have a great one. Thanks for listening.